Optimizer and why it's just so important, such a good feature of the Max. You can see I took the head cover off, I took the mineral cartridge off as well, so we get a little bit better look at this. But this is a very, very, very critical piece of our Max. It's one of the reasons why we like this system so much. And so I want to talk to you about why this is important and what problem this overcomes in most RO systems. RO systems, just by their nature, have to waste water. I think probably our biggest competitor out there is Utopia. We get a lot of requests for people who think they can get super clean water in a very small package, a very small filter that doesn't cost very much, that doesn't waste any water, and gets great pH performance as well. And while we love that, it's just not possible. We don't have that technology available in our current state to make that sort of system. And so we're left with sort of making do with what we can to make that waste as little as possible, okay? But RO systems, by nature, like if you saw in the kind of overview video, they send two streams of water through the membrane, right? We have one that goes over, and this is the clean drinking water that heads to the minerals, and we have one that's wastewater that runs out. And both of those streams come out of the same cartridge, the same membrane, right? So once the water runs through the minerals and jumps over the tank, that's where we start to have problems. Because the tanks are pressurized. If it wasn't pressurized, we'd have a hard time getting the water out of the tank up through the faucet into your glass. So you want some pressure in that system to push it out. So those tanks, which I don't have one here with me because it's just too kind of bulky to keep out here in front of me all the time, but those tanks are 3.2 gallons, okay? But the space for the water in there is only about 2.5 gallons or so. The reason for that is because on the bottom of the tank is this bladder. Think of a really, like a balloon, right? A real thick balloon. And that's where the pressure is. So as the water goes into the tank, it gradually has to compress that bladder. It has to push it down, right? To get more and more water in the tank, it makes it harder to get into the tank. And so once that becomes difficult, the water doesn't want to go there. It's just like humans. We want to take the path of least resistance, right? And for the path of least resistance for the water here is just go out the drain line. And so it becomes, you end up with one side of the water that's very easy to go out because the drain pipe's empty and it just flows out real simple. But the other side has to force its way in through resistance and get into the tank. And that's tricky. And so what happens is you get a great wastewater ratio to begin with when the tank's empty, right? Hey, we're 2 to 1, 3 to 1, 4 to 1, whatever. But very quickly as that tank fills up, it gets a lot worse. 10, 12, 15, 20 to 1, where you're wasting 20 gallons of water for every gallon it makes into the tank. And so this, our water optimizer, prevents that from happening. This essentially makes the RO as efficient as the RO can possibly be in your home. There's no other way to make more efficient of an RO system. And this essentially is a switch. Think of like a railroad track. It just keeps switching from back and forth from one side to the other. You can hear this working when water's running through the system and into the pump. It kind of flips back and forth. So the way that functions is it tricks the system. It tricks the water into thinking the tank is always empty, all right? It has to go there because it shuts off the other side, the waste side, running down at the same time. RO systems, typically both of those would be operating at the same time. With the Max, only one operates at a time. Now that doesn't mean toxins are going into the tank. That's not what happens. But it allows the water to pool up here before it's allowed to escape down whichever path it's going, either the clean side or the dirty side. Hopefully that makes sense. So this flips back and forth. That way the water has to go into the tank. There's no other way for it to go. It can't release pressure down the drain line. And so we make this as efficient as it possibly can. You kind of get a squirt here, and then a squirt there, and then a squirt here, and a squirt there. And that's the way this process works. What that means is that you waste a whole lot less water. We're looking at about 80% less waste with this system than with typical ROs because it's consistent through the life of the tank filling up. The other thing is it fills much faster. I mean, think about it. If you're running 20 gallons of water down the drain line and only one gallon is getting into the tank, it's going to take a long time for that tank to fill up. So this fills up about 4 times faster than RO systems as well. My family, I've got 3 kids. They drink like fish. And especially in the summer, we would run out of water with the previous RO system we had. And you'd have to wait on it. That's not a good position to be in because then they just want to just get a glass of tap water and be fine. Kind of defeats the purpose. We've never had a depleted tank since we've gone to this new water optimizer on the back. So really, really great system, something that we really enjoy and allows us to be confident in telling you as a consumer, as a prospect or whoever, that this system is as efficient as you can possibly get in your home. And that's the best we can do. So, hope this helps. If you got any other questions, give us a call, drop us a line, whatever. We're here to help. See ya.